Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to first look at Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta explaining reasoning behind tough transfer decision, and then we're going to look at Mikel Arteta can finally complete long-term Arsenal squad rebuild with January transfer. So the first transfer headline states that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta explains reasoning behind tough transfer decision. So the reports are stating that Mikel Arteta has opened up about one of the moves made this summer. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has admitted that he found it difficult to say goodbye to defender Hector Bellerin, who joined Real Betis last month. The Spanish right-back had spent 10 years at the Emirates after being snapped up from Barcelona at youth level in 2011. Although he was an important first-team player for a number of years, Hector Bellerin later suffered with injury issues and gradually became a more peripheral figure. After struggling to break into the team under Mikel Arteta, he was allowed to leave to return to Spain on deadline day and now will ply his trade in La Liga. Speaking ahead of his side's huge game against Norwich this weekend, Mikel Arteta explained how he felt about letting Hector Bellerin go and suggested it was the player himself who was pushing for an exit. To find someone like Hector is not easy. He's been raised here with us and is loved by everyone at the football club, Mikel Arteta said. I had to say goodbye with sadness, but at the same time I had to understand his position. He needed a new challenge. He's needed a new challenge for a while now. After discussions for a long time, we decided to let him go because it was the right thing for him as well. Mikel Arteta's words come after Hector Bellerin himself had lifted the lid on his move, saying his father's love for Betis was behind the decision. He's always told me about playing one day at Betis. We had talked about it, he said. Many things are talked about in the market, and my father always said that if he had to go to Betis, that dream was fulfilled, and he's a person who lived it since he was little, and who has instilled it in everyone. For me, having that very good relationship with him and being able to make him happy with a dream makes me very excited. I wanted the sun and heat, but I didn't come here on vacation, but to fight for my position. Mikel Arteta faces one of his most important games in charge since arriving at the Emirates against Norwich. The Gunners sit bottom of the Premier League, with Arteta's position coming under increasing pressure. A bad result against the Canaries, he would leave his position almost untenable, and with difficult-looking games against Burnley and Tottenham coming up afterwards, it is no exaggeration to say Saturday's clash is a must-win. If not, he could well be handed his P45. So it looks like Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta explains reasoning behind tough transfer decision, and the decision to let Hector Bellerin leave on a loan move to Real Betis is something that I think suits all parties, because first of all it suits Hector Bellerin's personal demands of his father being a Real Betis fan and him being a Real Betis fan, to fulfill the dream of both his father and his to play for Real Betis at least on a loan transfer. It suits Mikel Arteta's transfer policy, as we were able to bring in a new right back with different qualities, something that could suit Nicola Pepe, because the relationship between Bellerin and Pepe at Arsenal was one of the worst in terms of that right-sided side, and when it comes to Hector Arteta, he has a great opportunity to sell him after as well. So this nicely takes us on to the second piece of transfer news, which states that Mikel Arteta can finally complete long-term Arsenal squad rebuild with January transfer. So the reports are stating that Mikel Arteta may attempt one more signing to complete his squad overhaul. Arsenal spent more than any other Premier League side this summer, but the squad isn't complete just yet, as under pressure boss Mikel Arteta is still eyeing an attacking option for the long term. Also were the Premier League's biggest spenders this summer, as they splashed out £150 million on 6 new signings to bolster their squad, which currently hasn't gone to plan. The Gunners are rooted to the bottom of the table and have made their worst start to a top-flight season in their 118-year history, and Mikel Arteta needs a signing to step up in order to save his job. Despite the transfer windfall, Mikel Arteta is reportedly still eyeing a long-term attacking option to complete his overhaul at the Emirates, with current striking options aging. Depending on how their success fares over the next few months, they could attempt a bid as soon as January. Youssef En-Nesyri has starred for Sevilla in La Liga since making the switch from fellow Spanish side Leganes in 2020, and has begun to attract interest from the rest of Europe, with Arsenal reportedly amongst the most keen at this stage. According to La Colina de Nordvonian, Premier League teams were interested in bringing in the 24-year-old this summer, and Arsenal have remained interested in the Moroccan. Arsenal's forward options are fine at this current moment in time, but for the long term they are extremely limited, with Alexandre Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah entering the final years of their contracts and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at the tail end of his peak. Therefore, a future forward is a priority area for Mikel Arteta and the club's sporting director are due to recruit, unless they are working on new deals for their current number 9 options. Sevilla signed En-Nesyri for £25 million in 2020, and the Moroccan's deal doesn't expire until 2025, meaning that they can demand a much higher fee for their prized assets. According to the Spanish outlet, West Ham pushed the hardest to strike a deal for the 24-year-old this summer, but it appears that they opted for Nikola Vlasic when a deal wasn't possible. Sevilla sporting director Monchi has reiterated that the club are not willing to do any business involving En-Nesyri, but the club opted for a similar stance for Jules Koundé this summer, stating that he wouldn't be sold unless his release clause was met. Therefore, one would assume that if the right price was offered, a deal could be done for the Moroccan striker, who has scored 32 goals in 81 appearances since joining Sevilla. En-Nesyri currently has a market value of £36 million according to Transfermarkt, but it's likely a deal will have to surface around the £50 million mark to even open negotiations with the Spanish side. The Moroccan also boasts similar traits to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, with the forward standing an inch taller than the current Arsenal number 14, but is still quick off the mark as he has operated in wide roles as well throughout his career. If Arsenal want to secure the 24-year-old La Liga star, they will surely face heavy competition, with Barcelona even reportedly eyeing him before their financial issues. However, any side will have to pay a large fee, with Monchi a tough negotiator and due to the fact that En-Nesyri still has a lengthy contract. So it looks like Mikel Arteta can finally complete long-term transfer target in the form of En-Nesyri and complete his squad rebuild at the football club. So we will have to wait and see how Arsenal performs at the end of this season. If you want to see more daily videos from Arsenal News TV, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the like button so I know if you enjoyed the video, and share the video to your Arsenal friends and family. Click one of the videos on the screen and I'll see you there.